before 8:30.
They're about to take a left there. They want to go live? Let's go. 10 seconds. Just got a couple coming over. Live hit.
Yeah, I'm here in St. Augustine Beach where we are about to be briefed by the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office with Commander Chuck Mulligan. Chuck, what can you tell us at this point?
Good evening. Earlier this evening we received a 911 call from an individual who resides in the house behind us where this shooting occurred. That individual told us that their significant other was despondent and was threatening suicide. She also relayed to us that there were firearms in the house. She did not know if that individual at that point in time was armed. We responded to back up the St. Augustine Beach Police Department, who was the initial primary responding agency to this call. Once we arrived, one of their officers did in fact make contact with the individual inside the house. They were in contact with him by phone, and they were negotiating to get him out. On several occasions, they believed that the subject was going to exit the house and come out so we could assist him in any way we could. However, as he was exiting the house, he was in fact armed with a rifle, and we in fact engaged that individual with gunfire. That individual was struck, I'm not sure how many times at this point in time. Several deputies fired. The investigation at this point in time is very preliminary as it moves forward, but that individual was taken to Shands Hospital, and currently I do not know his condition.
Is he alive?
He was alive at the time he left the scene here, and again, I do not know his condition. They did air transport him to Shands Hospital.
Does he have any priors?
I do not know. We've not had the time to run criminal histories on anybody. This is very, very early on in the investigation. Simply put, just before we briefed you, I was still looking at records that we have on file in order to brief you on this case as thoroughly as possible.
Was the woman who called you out his wife?
No, it was a significant other. They were not legally married, from my understanding.
And was she in danger throughout this? Where is she right now?
Well, the interviews are going on with that, of course, but that's not going to be in depth. Right now, obviously, she's quite upset. We have victim advocates with her, and so the first thing we can do is take care of her needs, get her emotionally stabilized after an event like this, as well as the officers and the deputies that were involved, and then from that standpoint, we'll have more thorough.
The Sheriff's Office opened fire, not the St. Augustine Beach Police Department?
I didn't clarify that at all. What I said was shots were fired. And so until we get further into this investigation, we won't know who fired what and who fired first. That's part of the investigation.
When you say fired, Chuck, when you say fired first, is there an indication that the law enforcement officers were fired upon as well?
Well, that's what we're going to investigate. We're not inside the residence yet. As we know, we obtain search warrants in cases like this. And so until that search warrant gets here, we will not go inside that house to secure it for evidence. We're going to ensure that nothing is touched in that house up until the point in time that we have the search warrant, we can go inside. Our first priority, of course, was life of that individual who was shot, and so the deputies only entered the confines of that residence to bring him out and to save his life.
Two-part question: do we know if the woman was ever felt her safety was being threatened by this individual?
Again, we've not interviewed her, so we will know that once we get a chance to talk to her.
Were there other people in the home, and do you know their ages?
No other individuals in the home.
Do you know their ages?
Chuck, you went in the house, or where was he at the time of the shooting?
They were at the front of the residence at the time.
Outside the front door?
Well, again, they were at the front door of the residence. So if you want to know how many inches forward or back, we're going to have to take measurements for you. That's part of the investigation, and we're not there yet.
Chuck, my last question. You said this man appeared to be suicidal. Could this be an incident, or appear to be an incident of suicide by cop?
Well, again, way too early to classify it. We're not doing that. We're not going to assume anything. We're not going to prejudge anything. We're going to let the evidence take us step by step through this incident. Again, there's multiple agencies involved in this. We were backing up initially the St. Augustine Beach Police Department, who was doing everything they could to talk this individual out of the house. Unfortunately, when he came towards the front door of the house, he was armed with a rifle. Shots were fired, and we will then delineate from that who fired first, if shots were fired by the individual or not, and who from the individuals who were on scene fired. And so that's all ongoing.
Do you know approximately how long St. Augustine Beach PD was talking to him prior to this incident?
I don't have an exact timeline on that. Again, we've only been here for about an hour or so. We have a lot of things that we do to get this up and moving. And so the questions that you have, quite frankly, are for tomorrow or the next day. We just won't have that information until then.
Do you know what time you arrived at the scene?
I don't have the exact time. I believe it was around 9-ish, but I'd have to check the logs to clarify.
Names of the victims or the ages? But name of those
We,
involved?
we do. It's not prudent at this point in time to get into that. We've got an individual at the hospital at a trauma care center. We've got the female significant other in this is being dealt with by our victim advocates who's quite upset. So
And they were the only two there at the time.
that's my understanding.
Who's going to be overseeing the investigation? FDLE, St. Johns County?
St. Johns County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit will be handling that.
Thank you, Chuck.
Okay, you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Chuck.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Danger, and I am live here in a minute.
I'm sorry if I stepped on your Chuck.
No, you're
I
cool.
didn't
That's fine.
realize.